How's it going, you guys? Okay, so I've been unemployed for about, I'd probably say close to a month and a half now. Not really enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time here, obviously, but I have an itch to work, and it just won't quit. I find myself digging holes in their lawn for no apparent reason, standing outside just looking at everything, wondering what I can do, because, it's what happens whenever you work retail almost all your life and then decide to just stop on a dime. You get the itch. As much as you don't miss it, you do. But the best perk about being unemployed is you can rant about your bosses and you can rant about management. And that's what we're ranting about today. We are ranting about management. But before I go any further in this rant, I just wanted to personally say to my boss from my previous job, you were the greatest boss I had. But we had our problems. And I'm just gonna rant about it. It's like a roast, if you will. Still love you. Still willing to take you out for a drink whenever I get back. But I am going to rant a little bit about you. So, here we go. And this is about all the bosses I've ever had. This is collectively all the things that they've ever done. And even I probably did to some people because whenever I was in management that just really tick us off. And I'm sure it did to you too. So here we go. First thing. Okay. All right. I understand when you're working your job consistently all the time, getting stressful, things can bother you. All right? And when you have a team of people, what's one of the first things that they teach you? What's one of the first things you take in that little assessment when you write it out and you fill out your little thing and you get inside and you take your training? Always ask for help. It's never a problem. If you want to ask for help, if an assignment is too big and you need some assistance, that is great. All right? Your team is there to help you out. But when you decide to just take one thing that you were meant to do and just give it to your team member, you're just like, hey, just do that. Do that thing that's on my job application, on my, my sign-up sheet. The thing I'm supposed to do, my responsibility list. I just want to go ahead and take that little thing that I don't want to do and give it to you. It's not cool. Because what happens? Most of the time, I get it, all right? I get it. Sometimes you're really just overworked. Sometimes you just have a long list of things, district managers on you, because they're never just your friend, right? They act like your friend. They give you high fives. They're like, hey, you got the numbers. But if you're down on numbers, if you didn't reach your goal for that month or even that week, are they still your friend? No. They're the stupid idiot friend from high school that you don't even understand why you're friends with anymore. That butthole. The one that comes in only whenever you're making him happy. But whenever you have something to say or whenever you're having a crap day, do they show up? Do they show up with chocolates and want to hang out with you and watch Hot Fuzz with you 3 times in a row? No. What do? They block you on Facebook and they don't even talk to you because they hate the fact that you're not making them happy. Those are district managers. So I get it. Whenever you're upset and you have a long list of things, sometimes you just really want to just push that thing on the team. Just listen, I'm out. I'm going to be outside the house, okay? You clean up the house, all right? I get it. But you got to understand the theme of my entire channel is that everyone in the workplace are people too. And I'm a person that I can be wrong. I even see in some of my past videos that some people disagree with things I say. And that's okay. That's completely okay. And that makes me even glad we don't even work together because I don't want to be a bother. But as management, that is probably the most difficult thing to master. In fact, I probably think a small handful of people in the entire world of retail have been able to master it. And if they are, they probably learned from some sort of Shaolin monk in a temple in Alaska. Because you can never make everyone happy. And unfortunately, that's the lesson of my own life. You can't make everyone happy. Someone's always going to get upset. And that's the same thing with your team members. You try to help one, the other's going to get mad. Or if you try to make yourself happy or ease your own stress, you're going to stress others. It's just the formula. It's just the way it works. On to the next one. When your boss leaves early. Now, I get it. I completely get it. I understand. Okay? When your store manager especially, who works salary, okay, he doesn't have a timesheet to fit in. He doesn't have specific hours he needs to clock in and clock off. He's just given a specific set of hours. This is what you do. This is guaranteed what you're going to work. Put your time in, the time you're going to work. Just put the hours, and all that is just so your team members can know when you're working, and then that's it, right? So obviously from time to time, there comes an important moment where you're like, hey, I need to go. My daughter's got a softball game, and I need to go to it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to miss it. You know, I haven't seen my kid in like 3 years, and it's going to be a Hallmark movie moment when I show up, because I'm going to show up to that piano music whenever they turn, and they're just about to, like, this is the moment when they're supposed to hit the home run. Bases are loaded, and they turn, and they don't see in the bleachers, right? So they have a moment where they turn, and then there's that single tear as the pitcher's warming up. And then when the pitcher comes up, she turns, sees you in the bleachers, she cries as another tear. She actually smiles because she hasn't smiled in the first 3 weeks, you know? So for the first, hour and a half of this movie, she hasn't smiled at all. So she finally smiles, pulls out of her heartstrings, turns, bam! Full home run, whatever it's called. That's what you want, right? So of course you want to leave about an hour early. That's okay. Stay clocked on so you can get your salary pay. I won't tell anybody. But when it becomes a pattern, when it's almost every time someone works with you, a specific person, sometimes it can get under your skin just a tiny bit. Because listen, I understand life happens, okay? But when we take the shoes off of your feet, put them on my feet, and my shoes on your feet, okay? We switch positions in this scenario. I don't think you'd be so forgiving. I don't think that you would be cool with me leaving an hour to an hour and a half early every single time you and I work together. And even if I had a legit reason, sooner or later, the least you would say, as the nice boss you are, the least you would say is that, hey, I know things can suddenly happen, but if you can just let me know ASAP so I can change your schedule around, so that way when you leave early, it'd be technically you leaving when you're supposed to, so that way there's not any problems. If that was the case, why aren't you doing it? On to the final one. At least the final one for this video. I still got plenty more. Handling idiot coworkers. We all got them. No one never has one, and if you do, one of you is a killer. One of you is gonna murder everybody. If everyone's happy with each other, if everyone's best friends, no one is causing any issues or has any negativity towards anyone else, if there isn't gossip crossing over between one person and the other, and then there's just like a high school, if it's perfect, one of you is a murderer. So of course when it happens, when you have the person you're upset at, when they're doing stupid stuff like, I don't know, not showing up 3 times in a row, or I don't know, causing problems and, just arguing with people for no reason, or I don't know, getting mad and causing mass hysteria and flipping tables and murdering people and, punching people in the face. Never happened, but I mean, I'm just saying. Who's the one person you turn to? You turn to the knight in shining armor on the white glistening horse that's sitting there all the time. Your general manager. The boss. You look to him because he's invincible. He can do whatever he wants. We are but peons. We are but pawns in his chessboard. Alright? He can do whatever he wants with us. But when your boss, I mean, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. Okay? I'm not saying it happens to everybody. It's just, you make the hard decisions. And sometimes, I can already see the comment now. I can see it. You can go ahead and delete it. I'm saying it for you. It's inevitable. Some bosses even think that they have to be buttholes all the time just to get work done. To me, that's not true, but if that's your way of doing it, then that's fine. If your follower, if your coworkers and stuff like that are working with you because of that, then that's fine by me. If you can still sleep at night, cool. And it's inevitable, unfortunately, when you have that issue. Sometimes just something's going on in work or something's going on in the spider web of the entire, politics of it that I never understand. But sometimes you just can't do what your coworker really wants you to do. Sometimes you just can't fire the guy, or sometimes you just can't, I guess, talk to him because it's the holiday season and you don't want to cause, problems in the long run. So the short term has to be handled differently. And that's probably the most difficult part about being a manager and why I don't think I'd ever want to be a store manager. Because the stress of it all is that you got to make everyone happy. Your goal every time you walk into work is to make everyone happy, but to make profit and to make money and to beat your goals. And it's so difficult because it is like you're running a high school. It's like you're playing real life Sims, but they can talk to you. It's like what you do is you're like, hey, you can take a lunch break, and then you send them off to lunch when their food meter goes low, but then you totally forgot that this guy came in like 30 minutes early, so he starts complaining, and you're like, oh god, well, I guess you can go too, but now you're going to be understaffed, which means you have to stand out, and you have to deal with all these customers, which means you're not making profit, so you can't do that, so you tell the guy, hey, I'm sorry, I totally forgot, blah, blah, blah. But now you got a ticked off guy, so he's not going to want to sell anything, so now when he's talking to someone, he could have offered the protection plan, but he's not going to because he's mad at you, so he's doing it out of spite. So now you have to deal with that. So now you just got pretty much an extra body of meat, so you're like, whatever, go to lunch now. But then you had to deal with that, so now it's just this whole problem, and it's just crazy. You have to deal with that every second of every day. So I get it. Doesn't mean I'm not upset, though. But anyway, guys, that's just three things. I think three. But that's just a few things about management that I can understand, but at the same time, I just kind of want to rant about because being on the receiving end and being kind of a victim of some of those things, as well as, unfortunately, the boss in those situations doing those wrong moves, I can understand how bad it is, and I just wanted to rant about it, which is perfect, because being unemployed, you can totally do that without getting in trouble. So, until the next video, my friends, I hope you really enjoyed it. If you do, please leave a like, and please comment down below. I'm actually back into responding to you guys as much as I can anyway, to the ones that, I feel like I can respond to. And thank you so much, you guys, for waiting, and I'm sorry if I let you guys behind. I didn't mean it. But until the next video, my friends, until the next time, I hope you have fun, and until then, I'll see you in the next video.